and towards a victory by a handsome margin in the end. The first ever stage of a Grand Tour for the popular and talented Australian. Luke Plapp, the winner in style from a 20-rider breakaway of Stage 8 of the Giro d'Italia, his first World Tour win. Stage 9, and potentially a really important day in the overall race for victory in the 108th Giro d'Italia. A really testing 3-star stage in Tuscany, 181 kilometres from Gubbio to Siena, featuring 5 gravel sectors. A day for the GC riders to survive, and for those seeking a stage win to try and ride to victory in the famous Piazza del Campo, the finish line of Strade Bianche. Strong wind and bright sunshine, and occasional drops of rain on the course today. And a really big day for Diego Ulissi in the Maglia Rosa, the Italian from Tuscany, wearing the famous jersey for the first time in his long career. The winner of 8 stages of the Giro d'Italia, leading the race as the flag dropped and they went out from Gubbio. The attack started pretty much straight away. Eventually a 4-rider group featuring 2 riders from Alpecin-Deceuninck, Caden Groves and Quentin Hermans, were joined by Luc Lamperty and Milan Fretin, as well as Taco van der Hoorn. 6 riders then, taking the first sprints, then the first King of the Mountains. Q6 36.5, controlling the pace behind for Tom Pidcock, as the race then went on to the first of the gravel sectors. The pace really high as the peloton entered, 1.5 minutes behind. Wout van Aert driving things on the first of 5 gravel sectors. Caden Groves still at the front of the group that started to disintegrate off the front of the race, losing Luc Lamperty. And straight away, Diego Ulissi in the Maglia Rosa on the back foot and conceding time. It was Quentin Hermans and Caden Groves who went off the front, and then Lucas Hamilton crashing, and Tom Pidcock and Primož Roglič caught out, and both of those riders, along with Brandon McNulty, crashing too. That left a group off the front featuring Isaac Del Toro of UAE Team Emirates and Egan Bernal with 2 teammates, including Brandon Rivera. Then Primož Roglič, already delayed, got a puncture which left him further off the back. Tom Pidcock also battling to try and work his way through the groups and back up to the front of the race. Juan Ayuso and all the other main contenders were in a group at 49 seconds that started to disintegrate under pressure from Ayuso, who closed the gap to his teammate Del Toro to around about 41 seconds. But at the front, Brandon Rivera, with Egan Bernal to look after, was still driving things on to the benefit of Isaac Del Toro and Wout van Aert, who found himself in the front group. Tom Pidcock taking the responsibility of leading the Roglič group, Group 3 on the road, closer to the Ayuso group but making no inroads, as Wout van Aert sat on, being piloted by those GC aspirants Ineos, closer to the finish line. Isaac Del Toro then attacking with 20 kilometres to go on the penultimate gravel sector to try and drop Wout van Aert and go clear, unsuccessfully. But that put Matej Vacek into difficulty, who'd only just managed to latch on. Primož Roglič then attacking off the front, and at the very front of the race, Isaac Del Toro and Wout van Aert then on the final gravel sector, duelling it out for victory and going clear. That dispensed with Matej Vacek and Egan Bernal, who by now had burnt through all his domestiques, and Isaac Del Toro really tried at this point to distance Wout van Aert. And into Siena eventually, and onto the famous Santa Caterina climb. The steep slopes, which of course Wout van Aert knows so well, having raced to victory in Strade Bianche here 5 years ago in the COVID pandemic of 2020. Isaac Del Toro turning the screw and trying to drop Wout van Aert. Van Aert glued to the wheel of the young Mexican. The closer they got to the top of the climb, the more Del Toro tried to drop Van Aert, who stuck to him limpet-like, and they took the turn together. The famous right-handed turn.
It's gone so deep, and Del Toro now might have a massive problem, and it's yellow, and it's called Wout van Aert. Van Aert now hitting the front. Del Toro threw everything at him. He objects to Wout van Aert taking his line, but Van Aert is trying to hit him while he's down and ride away on this descent to the line that he knows so well. Van Aert takes the racing line, takes the lead, looks round, checks, and sprints round the final series of turns with 200 metres to go to a victory that will please the cycling world, who feared for Van Aert over recent weeks and months. Del Toro, though, not out of it, as Van Aert skirts with disaster on that corner, sprints for the line and takes the win he has yearned for week after week and months of suffering. Van Aert, a winner at the Giro d'Italia in the Piazza del Campo.
The battle for second place then between Giulio Ciccone and Carapaz, making gains in the GC. Isaac del Toro, though, riding into the Maglia Rosa, and by a handsome margin too. A massive day for the 21-year-olds from Mexico. Both riders coming away with a huge reward from their day of racing on the white roads of Tuscany. Wout van Aert then popping the champagne in front of the huge crowds in the sunshine, the winner of stage 9. And the new Maglia Rosa, the first Mexican ever to wear the famous jersey, Isaac del Toro, with a lead of 1 minute and 13 seconds ahead of his teammate Juan Ayuso. Maglia Ciclamino firmly in control by Mads Pedersen, who still has a huge lead. And Lorenzo Fortunato didn't extend his lead in the King of the Mountains, but he did drop out of GC. He'll hunt further points later on in the race. Isaac del Toro also leads the white jersey Best Young Riders competition by the same margin to Ayuso.